Dr. Liz Morgan rubbed her tired eyes and stared at the computer screen again. For 3 nights in a row, the same strange signal patterns appeared. Working alone in the quiet Arizona observatory, she felt a chill run down her spine. "This can't be right," she whispered to herself. The signals were too regular, too precise to be natural. Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached for her phone. By morning, observatories across the world confirmed her findings. Something was coming toward Earth, and fast. 5 days later, the sky changed forever. Massive ships appeared in orbit, their dark hulls reflecting sunlight as they positioned themselves over major cities. They were enormous, each one larger than the biggest aircraft carrier ever built. People around the world stopped and stared upward. Traffic halted, schools closed, church bells rang. Some ran in panic while others stood frozen in awe. In Washington, D.C., Navy Commander Jack Murphy was pulled from his morning briefing. "Sir, you need to come now," said the young officer at the door, his face pale. Murphy followed him to the Situation Room where military leaders and government officials gathered around screens showing the alien vessels. "How many?" Murphy asked. 23 so far," replied General Frank Peterson, "and more appearing every hour." At noon, every electronic device on Earth, phones, televisions, radios, computers, began broadcasting the same message. On screens around the world appeared a humanoid figure with pale blue skin, elongated features, and eyes that seemed to glow from within. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, "I am Kreltov, ambassador of the Valorian Empire. We have observed your world for many years. Your resources are valuable. Your position in this sector is strategic. Your technology is primitive, but your species has potential to serve." People in crowded city squares watched in silence, families huddled together in their homes. "The Valorian Empire claims this world as its newest territory," Kreltov continued. "You have 30 Earth days to dismantle your military forces, transfer control of your governments to our appointed regions, and prepare for integration into our labor systems. Compliance will be rewarded with survival. Resistance will result in your extinction." The screens went dark. Then panic erupted. In the days that followed, riots broke out in major cities. Some people fled to rural areas. Others formed militia groups. Religious gatherings swelled as people sought comfort and answers. 7 days after first contact, Commander Murphy found himself being led through underground tunnels beneath the Pentagon. He entered a room where world leaders had gathered in person or via secure video link. The President of the United States stood at the center of the room. "We've analyzed their technology as best we can," she said. "Their weapon systems are far beyond our current capabilities." "Then we surrender?" asked the British Prime Minister on the screen. "Not necessarily," said a man stepping forward from the shadows. This was Dr. Adam Hayes, thin and disheveled, with 3 days of stubble on his face. "I've been working on something." Dr. Hayes explained that a small group of scientists had detected the alien signals months before the ships arrived. They had been working non-stop on developing new technologies based on theoretical physics. "We've created prototype engines and weapons systems that might give us a fighting chance," Hayes said. "But we need time to build them, and we need resources." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "The Valorians expect us to be preparing our surrender," Commander Murphy said, breaking the silence. "Instead, we'll be preparing for war." The President looked around the room. "This stays completely secret. As far as the world knows, we're considering their terms. Meanwhile, we build our response." She turned to Murphy. "Commander, you'll be leading our military efforts." Murphy nodded, his jaw set firm. "The Valorians think we'll just roll over and submit. They don't understand humans very well." Outside, the alien ships loomed in the sky, dark and imposing. But beneath the surface of the Earth, hope was taking shape. The decision was made. Humanity would not submit. The secret meeting lasted through the night. Maps and data filled screens around the room as world leaders and military chiefs argued about what to do. Commander Murphy stood silently, watching as fear turned to anger and then to resolve. "Even if Dr. Hayes' technology works, we can't build enough ships in 30 days, said the Russian president through a translator. Dr. Hayes ran his hand through his messy hair. "We've been working on rapid manufacturing methods too. With global cooperation, we could have a small fleet ready in 3 weeks. "Small won't be enough," General Peterson growled. "You've seen the size of their ships." "Size isn't everything," Dr. Hayes replied. "We believe their technology has specific weaknesses we can target." The Chinese premier leaned forward. "And how did you discover these weaknesses?" Dr. Hayes glanced at the president, who nodded. 6 months ago, one of their scout ships crashed in the Pacific Ocean. We recovered it before it sank completely." Gasps filled the room. This information had been kept from most world leaders. "The technology was damaged but gave us insights into their systems," Hayes continued. "Their shields are strong against conventional weapons, but vulnerable to specific energy frequencies. We've designed our weapons around this weakness." Commander Murphy finally spoke up. "This is still a massive gamble. We'd be betting everything on untested technology." "What's the alternative?" asked a quiet voice. All eyes turned to Dr. Samantha Wells, the engineer who had been working with Hayes. She was younger than most in the room, with determined eyes and her dark hair pulled back tightly. "Submit. Become slaves. That's not a real choice." The room fell silent again. The president stood up. "We need a vote. All in favor of resistance." One by one, hands raised. Some quickly, others hesitantly. But in the end, every hand was up. "Then it's decided," the president said. "Operation Defiance begins now." Later that night, Commander Murphy and Dr. Hayes walked through a massive underground facility beneath the New Mexico desert. The space was large enough to build aircraft carriers, with high ceilings and powerful lights. "This used to be a secret backup manufacturing site during the Cold War," Hayes explained. "We've updated it with new equipment. There are similar facilities in Russia, China, India, and Brazil." "How did you get all this ready without anyone knowing?" Murphy asked. "We didn't know the aliens were coming, exactly," Hayes admitted. "But the signal patterns suggested something was approaching. We've been preparing for a possible first contact scenario for the past year." They stopped at a railing overlooking the main floor. Below them, hundreds of workers moved around what looked like half of a spaceship. The hull gleamed under the lights, its surface unlike any metal Murphy had seen before. "What am I looking at?" he asked. "The U.S. Defender," Hayes said with pride. "Our prototype warship, using the alien materials we recovered and our own innovations. It's designed to match Valorian technology. The weapons systems came online yesterday. We're installing the engines now. And you're sure it will fly?" Dr. Wells appeared beside them. "It will fly," she said confidently. "And it will fight." Murphy studied the ship with expert eyes. "How many can we build in time?" "With all facilities running at full capacity, maybe 50, Wells replied. Murphy whistled. 50 against their fleet. Those are terrible odds. "Better than 0, Hayes said. "And remember, we have surprise on our side. They think we're helpless." As they talked, Murphy's phone buzzed. The message made his heart sink. "The Valorians just destroyed a military base in South Africa," he said, reading the screen. "They said it was a warning to show they're serious." Wells' face hardened. "Then we better get to work." Murphy looked down at the prototype ship again. In 3 weeks, he would command it against an alien force that had likely conquered countless worlds before Earth. "I want the best pilots and crew you can find," he said. "And I want this ship ready in 10 days, not 3 weeks." Hayes nodded. "Consider it done, Commander." Below them, sparks flew as workers welded sections of the ship together. Project Defiance was underway. Project Defiance moved faster than anyone thought possible. The world's best scientists, engineers, and military personnel worked around the clock in secret facilities across the globe. On the surface, life continued as normally as possible under the shadow of alien ships. Underneath, humanity prepared for war. 10 days after the meeting, Commander Murphy stood in the control room watching as the U.S. Defender powered up for its first test. The ship hummed with energy, its systems glowing with a soft blue light. "All systems ready," Dr. Wells reported. She hadn't slept more than 4 hours a night for over a week, but her eyes were clear and focused. "Begin vertical lift," Murphy ordered. The massive ship rose slowly from its cradle. Workers stepped back, their faces showing a mix of fear and hope. If this failed, there would be no time to start over. "Stabilizers functioning perfectly," Hayes called out. "Power output at optimum levels." The ship hung suspended in the air, steady as a rock. Murphy allowed himself a small smile. "Take it outside." The ceiling of the underground facility opened, revealing the night sky. The Defender rose into the darkness, its hull designed to avoid detection by Valorian sensors. Inside the ship's bridge, Murphy took the captain's chair. Around him, carefully selected crew members manned their stations. Each had been chosen not just for skill, but for courage and quick thinking. "Set course for the test range," Murphy ordered. The ship moved forward, faster than any Earth aircraft had ever flown. Within minutes, they reached a remote area of the Pacific Ocean. "Weapons systems online," reported Lieutenant Alan Foster, a young weapons expert who had mastered the alien technology in just days. "Target the test drones," Murphy said. 5 unmanned craft appeared on their screens, each built to simulate Valorian shield technology, based on the crashed scout ship. "Fire when ready." The Defender's main weapons fired pulses of energy that cut through the air in bright streaks. Each drone exploded in a burst of light. Not one required a second shot. The bridge crew cheered. Murphy exchanged looks with Hayes and Wells. For the first time, they truly believed they had a chance. "We still need more ships," Murphy reminded them. "How's production going?" Wells pulled up a global status report on her tablet. 7 more are nearly complete. By day 20, we should have 28 ready. By the deadline, possibly 45. "Not the 50 we hoped for," Murphy said. "Quality over quantity," Hayes replied. "Each ship can take out multiple Valorian vessels if our calculations are correct." As they spoke, an alert sounded. A message from the President appeared on screen. "The Valorians want an update on our surrender preparations," Murphy read aloud. "They're getting suspicious. We need to buy more time," Hayes said. "Suggest opening diplomatic talks." Murphy nodded. "Meanwhile, we continue building." The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of activity. As diplomats pretended to negotiate terms with the Valorians, the secret shipyards worked at full capacity. In New Mexico, Russia, China, and sites across the world, warships took shape. Pilots trained in simulators, learning to fly craft unlike anything humans had built before. 25 days after first contact, 37 Earth ships were ready. 8 more were nearly complete. The deadline approached fast. Commander Murphy addressed the crews of all ships from the bridge of the Defender. His image appeared on screens throughout the fleet. "In 5 days, the Valorians expect our surrender," he said, his voice steady and strong. "Instead, they will face our resistance. Each of you volunteered knowing the risks. We are outnumbered. We face an enemy with centuries more experience in space warfare. But we have advantages they don't expect. We have surprise. We have ships designed to exploit their weaknesses. And most importantly, we are fighting for our home." He paused, looking at the determined faces watching him. "Earth has never been united like this before. Every nation, every person, is counting on us. We will not let them down. Prepare your ships. We launch in 3 days." As Murphy finished speaking, an urgent message came through. "Commander," said the communications officer, her voice tense, "Valorian scout ships have been detected near the Brazilian facility." They may have discovered us. Murphy's jaw tightened. Alert all ships. We launch now. Project Defiance has just run out of time. Alarms blared throughout the Brazilian facility. Workers ran to their ships as Valorian scouts approached from above. 3 Earth vessels were ready to fly, but 2 more were still missing key components. "Get those ships in the air now," ordered Captain Maria Rodriguez, the facility commander. Her crew scrambled to follow orders. The ceiling opened, and the 3 completed ships rose into the night sky. They were barely clear when bright beams of energy cut through the air. The Valorian ships had opened fire. The first beam hit the edge of the facility, melting steel and concrete in seconds. The second struck one of the rising Earth ships, cutting through its rear section. The damaged vessel spun out of control, crashing back into the facility in a ball of fire. "Return fire," Rodriguez commanded. The 2 remaining Earth ships fired their weapons. 1 Valorian scout exploded into fragments. The other veered away, flying fast toward the main alien fleet. Rodriguez grabbed her radio. "Commander Murphy, this is Rodriguez. The Brazilian facility is compromised. We've lost 1 ship, and the facility is severely damaged. 1 Valorian scout escaped and is heading toward their fleet. They know we're building ships." Thousands of miles away on the U.S. Defender, Murphy received the message with a grim face. "All ships, this is Commander Murphy. The Valorians have discovered our plans. Launch immediately. Repeat, all ships launch immediately." Across the world, the secret facilities opened, and Earth's new fleet rose into the sky. Not all ships were fully complete, but there was no more time. On the main Valorian command ship, Supreme War Master Drez received the scout's report with rage. "The humans are building warships," he growled, his pale blue skin darkening with anger. "They dare to resist." "The scout reports at least 30 vessels, War Master," his officer reported, "using technology similar to our own." "Impossible," Drez said. "They must have stolen it somehow." He stood from his command chair. "Prepare all ships for battle. We will crush this pathetic resistance now, before their deadline. Show no mercy." The massive Valorian fleet moved into attack positions. 20 large warships and dozens of smaller vessels spread out, preparing to target Earth's major cities. They didn't expect the attack that came from behind them. The U.S. Defender led a formation of 15 Earth ships in a surprise assault. Energy weapons fired at the exact frequency to penetrate Valorian shields. 3 alien vessels exploded before they could respond. The others turned quickly, firing back with powerful weapons that lit up the space around Earth. "Evasive maneuvers," Murphy ordered as his ship barely dodged a beam of energy. "Focus fire on their command ship." The space battle grew as more Earth ships arrived. The Valorians fought with skill born from centuries of conquest. The humans fought with desperate courage and the advantage of surprise. Lieutenant Foster's targeting systems worked perfectly, finding weak points in the alien shields. Direct hit on their weapons array. He shouted as one of the larger Valorian ships lost power to its main guns. The battle raged for hours. Earth lost 8 ships in the fighting. The Valorians lost 12. On the Defender's bridge, Murphy watched as a massive energy beam struck his ship. The vessel shuddered violently. "Damage report," he called out. Dr. Wells checked her systems. "Shields at 40%. Engine 2 is offline. We can still fight, but we can't take another hit like that." Murphy looked at the tactical display. The Valorian command ship remained largely untouched, protected by a ring of defensive vessels. "We need to break through to their command ship," he said. "It's our only chance to end this quickly." "Sir," said Foster, "I've analyzed their attack patterns. There's a gap in their defenses that appears every 70 seconds. It's small, but we might fit through." Murphy nodded. "Alert all remaining ships. When that gap appears again, we make our move." He stared at the massive Valorian command ship on his screen. In the next few minutes, the fate of humanity would be decided. "All crews, "Prepare for final assault," Murphy ordered. "Let's show these Valorians what happens when you threaten Earth." The battle paused briefly as both sides regrouped. Earth's remaining ships formed a new attack pattern, while the Valorians tightened their defensive ring around the command ship. On the Defender's bridge, Murphy studied the enemy formation. 70 seconds until the next gap appears, Foster reported. Dr. Hayes rushed onto the bridge, his face covered in sweat. "Commander, I've been analyzing their communications. They're calling for reinforcements." Murphy's heart sank. From where? "A larger fleet stationed near Mars. They've been hiding on the far side of the planet. They'll be here in approximately 6 hours." The crew fell silent. They had barely held their own against the current Valorian force. More ships would make victory impossible. "Then we have 6 hours to end this," Murphy said firmly. "The plan doesn't change. We break through to their command ship." As they prepared for the final assault, a message came through on an unexpected channel. Dr. Wells checked the signal. "Sir, it's coming from the Valorian command ship. They want to speak with you." Murphy nodded. "Put it through." Supreme War Master Drez appeared on screen. His alien features showed contempt. "Human Commander, your resistance is impressive but futile. My reinforcements approach. Surrender now, and some of your people may be spared." Murphy stood tall. "We will not surrender. Not today. Not ever." Drez's eyes narrowed. "Then you will watch your world burn. Your primitive weapons cannot penetrate my command ship's shields." The connection cut off. Murphy turned to his crew. He's worried. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called. "Sir," Wells said quietly, "he might be right about their command ship shields. Our scans show they're much stronger than the other vessels." Murphy thought for a moment. "Then we need something stronger than what we have." He turned to Hayes. "Doctor, what about the experimental weapon you mentioned last week? The one you said wasn't ready?" Hayes looked surprised. "The pulse cannon. It's installed but untested. It might overload our engines if we fire it. Will it penetrate their shields?" Hayes nodded slowly. "In theory, yes." "Then prepare it," Murphy ordered. "We'll only get one shot." As the seconds ticked down, Earth's fleet moved into position. The U.S. Defender led the way, with the remaining ships providing cover fire. "Gap appearing in 30 seconds," Foster announced. Murphy spoke to the fleet. "All ships, focus fire on sectors 7 and 9. Create a diversion. The Defender will take the shot at their command ship." The Earth vessels opened fire, their weapons lighting up space. The Valorians responded, focusing their defense on the areas under heaviest attack. Just as Foster predicted, a small gap appeared in their formation. "Now," Murphy ordered. The Defender shot forward, engines straining as it aimed directly for the opening. Valorian ships fired at them, but the Earth fleet provided enough cover fire to let the Defender slip through. For a brief moment, Murphy had a clear shot at the massive command ship. "Pulse cannon charged and ready," Hayes reported. "Fire," Murphy commanded. The experimental weapon activated, drawing so much power that lights dimmed across the ship. A massive pulse of energy shot toward the Valorian command ship, striking its shields with incredible force. For a second, nothing happened. Then the alien shields flickered and collapsed. The pulse had worked. "All ships, target their command ship. Fire everything," Murphy ordered. Earth's fleet responded immediately, concentrating all weapons on the suddenly vulnerable Valorian vessel. Explosions ripped across its surface as critical systems failed. Inside the command ship, War Master Drez watched in disbelief as his vessel came apart around him. "Impossible," he muttered. The Valorian command ship listed to one side, its engines failing and weapons offline. Several smaller vessels moved to protect it, but the damage was done. A new message came through to the Defender. It was Drez again, but this time his arrogance was gone. "Human Commander," he said, his voice tight with anger, "you have won this battle. But the war is far from over. My reinforcements still approach." Murphy smiled grimly. Then we'll be ready for them too. As the damaged Valorian command ship retreated, Murphy turned to his crew. We've bought ourselves some time. Now we need to prepare for round 2. Earth had won its first victory against the Valorians, but the real test was still to come. With the Valorian command ship in retreat, Earth had a small window of opportunity. The remaining human vessels gathered around the Defender, many showing battle damage. Of the original 37 ships, only 22 remained operational. Damage reports from all ships, Murphy ordered. The news wasn't good. Most vessels had depleted weapons and damaged engines. The Defender itself was running on backup power systems. We can't win another battle like this, Hayes said quietly. Not against fresh reinforcements. Murphy nodded grimly. Then we need allies. He turned to Wells. Doctor, you mentioned the Valorians have conquered other worlds. Is there any way to contact those species? Wells looked surprised. Maybe. The communications data we captured from their scout ship included frequencies they used to communicate with their subject worlds. Could any of those worlds have fighting ships? It's possible, Hayes added. The Valorians would keep them disarmed, but some might have hidden vessels, just as we built ours in secret. Murphy made his decision. Send messages on all those frequencies. Tell them Earth has successfully fought back against the Valorians. Ask for their help. As Wells worked on the communications, Murphy addressed the fleet. All ships, begin repairs immediately. We have less than 6 hours before reinforcements arrive. On the damaged Valorian command ship, War Master Drez raged at his officers. How did they develop such weapons? How did they build those ships without our knowledge? His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Varric, spoke carefully. The humans are more resourceful than we expected. Our standard conquest protocol may have been a mistake. It doesn't matter now, Drez snarled. When our reinforcements arrive, we will destroy every human ship, then bombard their major cities until they surrender. Varric hesitated before speaking again. There is another concern, War Master. We've detected unusual communication signals from the human fleet. They are broadcasting on channels used by our subject worlds. Drez's eyes widened. They're calling for help. His fist slammed down on his command console. No subject world would dare assist them. Back on the Defender, 4 hours had passed. Repair crews worked frantically to restore key systems. The pulse cannon was completely burned out, but standard weapons were back online at 70% capacity. Wells suddenly called out from her station. Commander, we're receiving responses to our messages. Murphy rushed over. From who? 3 different species, the Arcturians, the Novat, and the Tellurians. They all say they've been under Valorian control for decades, and they all say they're sending ships to help us. Hope spread across the bridge. Hayes looked at the data coming in. The Arcturians are closest. They say they have a hidden fleet of 15 vessels they've been building in secret, just like us. When will they get here? Murphy asked. Estimated arrival in 2 hours, Wells replied. The others will take longer, maybe 8 to 10 hours. Murphy's face grew serious again. The Valorian reinforcements will arrive before the Tellurians and Novat. We need to hold out with just the Arcturian help until then. As they spoke, the ship's sensors beeped urgently. Foster checked his screens. Sir, the Valorian reinforcements have increased speed. New estimated arrival, 90 minutes. The mood on the bridge darkened again. They would face the second wave before any help arrived. Murphy stood tall, addressing his crew. Send word to all Earth ships. We faced impossible odds before and survived. We'll do it again. This time, we're not just fighting for Earth, we're fighting for all worlds oppressed by the Valorians. As repair crews made final adjustments to the fleet, a new message arrived. Wells' face lit up as she read it. Commander, the Arcturians have pushed their engines to maximum. They'll arrive in 60 minutes before the Valorian reinforcements. For the first time in hours, Murphy smiled. It seems we've started something bigger than we planned. Send a message to the Arcturians. Tell them we'll be ready to fight alongside them. Earth's revolution against the Valorians was about to become a galactic uprising. The next hour passed in tense preparation. Earth's fleet moved into a defensive position, with the stronger ships protecting those still undergoing repairs. Murphy studied the tactical display on the Defender's bridge, planning their strategy. Arcturian fleet detected approaching from Sector 4, Foster announced. 15 ships as promised. On screen, the alien vessels appeared. They were sleek and silver, smaller than Earth's ships, but moving with incredible speed. Their design was beautiful, almost artistic. Open a channel, Murphy ordered. The face that appeared on screen was humanoid, but with pale green skin and large almond-shaped eyes. I am Fleet Commander Zora of the Arcturian Resistance. We stand with Earth against our common enemy. Murphy nodded respectfully. Commander Murphy of Earth, we're grateful for your help. The Valorian reinforcements will arrive in 30 minutes. We have fought the Valorians in secret for many years, Zara replied. Today, we fight them openly. My ships are fast, and our weapons are precise. We will target their engines while your vessels focus on their weapon systems. The combined fleet took formation just as sensors detected the approaching Valorian reinforcements. 30 large warships appeared, led by a massive dreadnought twice the size of Drez's command ship. All ships, prepare for battle, Murphy ordered. The new Valorian fleet opened fire immediately, their weapons more powerful than those of the first wave. 2 Earth ships exploded before they could even return fire. Evasive maneuvers, Murphy called out as the Defender barely avoided a direct hit. The ship shuddered as a glancing blow struck its port side. The Arcturian vessels darted between the larger Valorian ships, their speed making them difficult targets. Their weapons fired with amazing accuracy, disabling engines on 3 enemy vessels in the first pass. For 20 minutes, the battle raged across Earth's orbit. The combined Earth-Arcturian fleet fought bravely, but they were still outnumbered. 7 more Earth ships were destroyed, along with 4 Arcturian vessels. We can't hold much longer, Hayes said, as another explosion rocked the Defender. The tactical display showed the massive Valorian dreadnought pushing forward, its weapons cutting through the Allied defense. It was heading directly for Earth. We need to stop that dreadnought, Murphy said. If it reaches low orbit, it can target cities directly. Zara's voice came through the communication system. Commander Murphy, we have a plan. The Valorian dreadnought has one weakness, its central power core. If hit with enough force, it would create a chain reaction. Our weapons can't penetrate that deep, Murphy replied. No, Zara agreed, but a ship could. A direct collision with the core would trigger the reaction. The bridge fell silent as everyone realized what Zara was suggesting. That's a suicide mission, Murphy said quietly. Yes, Zara replied simply, but it would save both our worlds. Before Murphy could respond, Wells called out from her station. Commander, new contacts appearing from Sector 7. On the tactical display, dozens of new ships appeared. They were blocky and heavily armored, unlike the sleek Arcturian vessels. This is Captain Krell of the Novat Defense Force, came a deep, rumbling voice over the communication system. We received your message. The Tellurians are with us. We fight together. Murphy and his crew watched in amazement as 20 Novat warships and 15 Tellurian cruisers joined the battle. The Novat ships had powerful beam weapons that sliced through Valorian shields. The Tellurians deployed swarms of small fighter craft that overwhelmed the enemy point defenses. The tide of battle shifted. The Valorian reinforcements found themselves caught between 3 different alien fleets, each with different tactics and weapons. All ships, Murphy called out. Focus fire on the dreadnought's forward shields. We have a chance to end this now. The combined fleet turned their weapons on the massive Valorian ship. Under the sustained assault, its shields began to fail. The moment had come for humanity's stand against the stars. The massive Valorian dreadnought shuddered as weapons fire pounded its weakening shields. The combined fleet had formed a perfect attack pattern, each species using their unique strengths. On the bridge of the U.S. Defender, Murphy watched the tactical display with growing hope. "Shields down to 20% on the dreadnought," Foster reported. "Keep firing," Murphy ordered. "Don't give them time to recover." Suddenly, a new signal appeared. "Commander," Wells called out. "It's War Master Drez's command ship. They're returning to the battle." The damaged Valorian command ship had repaired enough systems to rejoin the fight. It approached from behind Earth's fleet, catching several ships in surprise attacks. "Two more Earth vessels lost," Hayes reported grimly. "We're down to 13 ships." Murphy made a quick decision. Arcturians continue focusing on the dreadnought. Novat forces engage Drez's command ship. Tellurian fighters provide cover for damaged vessels. The battle split into two fronts. The Valorian reinforcements found themselves caught between coordinated attacks from all sides, but Drez's experience made his command ship a deadly threat. "Sir," Foster said suddenly, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the Valorian homeworld. They're preparing to open a wormhole. More reinforcements could be coming." Murphy's heart sank. They couldn't face another wave of enemy ships. As if reading his thoughts, Dr. Hayes spoke up. "Commander, what if we could use that wormhole against them?" "How?" "If we can push enough of our fleet through before it stabilizes, we could bring the fight to their homeworld. They wouldn't expect that." It was a desperate plan, but they were running out of options. Murphy opened a channel to all Allied ships. "All fleet commanders, this is Murphy. We have a chance to end this war today. We're going to take the fight to the Valorian homeworld." Fleet Commander Zara, Captain Krell, and the Tellurian leader all agreed. The plan was set. With renewed determination, the Allied fleet concentrated fire on the dreadnought. Under the relentless assault, its shields finally collapsed. Multiple direct hits struck its power core. The massive vessel exploded in a blinding flash, the shockwave damaging nearby Valorian ships. In the confusion, Murphy ordered the Allied fleet to push toward the coordinates where the wormhole would open. "Sir," Wells called out, "Drez's command ship is pursuing us." "Good," Murphy replied. "Let him follow." The space ahead of them shimmered as the wormhole began to form. The Valorians were indeed calling for more reinforcements from their homeworld. "All ships, prepare to accelerate to maximum speed on my mark," Murphy ordered. "We need to get through that wormhole before they can send ships through." The portal fully formed, a swirling gateway through space. Before any Valorian ships could emerge, Murphy gave the order. "Now." The Earth fleet, followed closely by their alien allies, shot forward into the wormhole. The sudden rush of ships from the wrong direction created chaos in the wormhole's structure, but they pushed through. When they emerged, they found themselves orbiting the Valorian homeworld. Thousands of Valorian citizens looked up to see alien ships filling their skies. Drez's damaged command ship followed them through, only to find himself cut off from reinforcements and facing the combined fleet. "Open a channel to the Valorian government," Murphy ordered. An elder Valorian appeared on screen, his shock evident. "Who are you? How dare you enter our space?" "I am Commander Murphy of Earth. You ordered humanity to submit. Instead, we brought warships to darken your skies. The same choice you gave us, we now give to you. Surrender or face destruction." The Valorian elder looked past Murphy, seeing ships not just from Earth, but from all the worlds they had conquered over centuries. This is impossible," he stammered. Behind him, War Master Drez's command ship drifted powerless, surrounded by the Allied fleet. "The impossible has happened," Murphy replied. "Your empire of fear is over. The peoples you've conquered have united. Surrender now, and we can build a new galaxy together. As equals, not as masters and slaves." The Valorian government took less than an hour to surrender. As the Allied fleet maintained position over the Valorian homeworld, Murphy stood on the Defender's bridge, looking at the faces of all the alien commanders on his screen. "Thank you," he said simply. "Today marks a new beginning, not just for Earth, but for all our worlds." Dr. Liz Morgan, who had first detected the alien signals at her Arizona observatory, now stood beside him. She looked out at the stars and smiled. "I think this is what we were meant to find out there all along. Not enemies, but friends."